Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Hiya Toys Godzilla vs. Kong Style series. We have Kong and Godzilla. I'm going to do them in one review. There's no articulation. There's no accessories, so it should be better, I guess, to do both in one rather than two separate reviews where we look at a static figure. So, I wanted to show you this like I normally do, kind of on the turnaround, so you can see the packaging. They both have the standard Godzilla vs. Kong orange and blue packaging. I hate that color scheme they did for that movie. It doesn't suit anything if you ask me. But that's the packaging. Let's go ahead and look at the figures. Alright, I wanted you to see them side by side also. So there's Godzilla and there's Kong. We'll do a size measurement. Godzilla stands roughly 7 1/4. Kong, I don't know. I guess, I don't know how to measure that. The overall statue, I guess, is going to be about 9 1/2, 9 1/4, or 9 3/4 if you count the nubbin up at the top. So, you know, it's there. Size-wise, it doesn't really matter for Kong, I guess, because he's flying. Godzilla's about 19, and Kong is about 26. So, you have an idea. Here they are with the Marvel Legends. They have some decent size to them. They come in at about, I think it's $45. I'll get the exact price and put it on there for you. But they have some decent size, and here they are up against Hiya's articulated Godzilla figure. So you can see the difference. It is not great in size, but obviously this guy's a lot more hefty. Actually, he's not that much more hefty. This guy's got a lot of solid PVC on him. Paintwork is definitely different. Obviously, they can get away with more sculpt work on this guy also, but now you have the size comparison. And then I'll do one more size comparison just so that you have an idea, in case you want to do any mixing and matching. SH Monster Arts Godzilla, not the right one, obviously, because I don't have that one handy, but there you go. Alright, we'll look at Godzilla first. Paintwork on this guy, it's not dissimilar to the articulated one, although there's a whole lot of dry brushing on this one that the other one doesn't have. It's molded in this grayish green plastic, it looks like, and then there's a brown, at least a brown wash, maybe some more, maybe a little bit of black here and there, but you can definitely see brown poking through in a lot of the recesses. It might not be super obvious at first glance, but it's in there and it gives a lot of depth to the figure. And then you have the dry brushing of that slightly greenish gray on top to make all the scales pop. And then you have the sculpt work for his face. Sculpt work and paint work for the face, which is really nicely done, I think. Could it be a little bit better? Sure, but at $45, I think it's perfectly reasonable. Something like this is a lot of molding, so the $45 price, even though it's not articulated, seems reasonable. There's a lot of big parts on here. I do think their seams could be a little bit better. If you look at the back of his jaw, you do see it looks like it's articulated, but it's not. It's just a piece that's been glued on. You also have some seams. Yeah, there's a seam right there in the arm, it looks like. You can't see that. There's a seam right there in the arm, and then obviously the hip. So their seams aren't bad, but they could be a little bit better. This side's a little bit cleaner here for the hip, but the arm's a little bit worse. And then the tail is the two-piece thing. You have to put the tail on. It comes separated in the package. This piece, this fin piece right here, wasn't glued down properly, so it sticks up a little bit on mine. And you can see clearly where you have to attach the separate piece of the tail. And you can also see the segments where they had to attach it in the factory. Same thing around here at the rib cage. You can see a lot of the seams is what I'm getting at. Does that matter? Probably not. If you're not right up on it, you're not going to notice it. And he definitely has a lot of meat to him. And it's got a nice sculpt. I think that's a pretty decent sculpt. I probably would do something with the hands a little bit different, just to be a little more dynamic. But I think it looks good. Again, for $45, this is perfectly reasonable. I'm perfectly okay with that. I don't collect this kind of thing, but I have purchased this kind of thing, and this seems right along. Like, it's probably cheap. I think it seems inexpensive for the size and paint job. $45 is nothing these days as far as collectibles. Now, as far as Kong, it's basically the same deal. He's got dry brushing of brown. Maybe there's some washing going on. There is definitely some airbrushing going around. Let me unpeg him. There's definitely some airbrushing going around on his soft spots, his smooth parts, and that looks really good. It actually does look like fleshy gorilla meat, and that looks good. I like the scarring, looks alright. The face is really nicely done. I think Kong might be the winner of the two in terms of detail. It looks really, really, really good. That mouth is wonderful. There's a nice wash in there to bring it to life. And then, like I said, the dry brushing mixed with the airbrushing for the fur and the smooth parts. Even his feet have some airbrushing on them. Looks really nice. This thing looks good. No complaints there. Very clean. I like it. Looks really good. His seams are too obvious again, though. Especially with the fur, they should have been able to hide the seams better. They didn't. His arms are clearly split. And that bugs me a lot. I don't mind the shoulder seam anywhere near as much, but these arm seams up here, they're way too obvious. If you look at the figure from the front, they're way too noticeable, so that's a big bummer. The one down here and in the hips, it's nowhere near as bad, but those ones are way too noticeable, so I don't care for that. Also, well, not also, but you do have to peg him in. Don't do it like this. Go between the legs and then peg it in, and that will slide right in. And the display stand isn't particularly impressive. It's just straight bare plastic, so nothing special there. This would have been nice to be, you can't see it again. This would have been nice to be colored. I think the printing or the text on there should have had some printing on it. But yeah, he looks good. I think really the takeaway from this is they're easily worth the money, but their seams are too noticeable for my liking. I think they could refine that a little bit in future releases. I still think they're worth it. Just be aware, they're not perfect. There are some issues. But if you're into this sort of thing, if you don't go for articulation or you just want extra of these characters, then these are easily worth the money, I think. You guys can let me know if you're really into the PVC statues, but I think they're good. I like them. They're painted well enough. I love Kong's face. Godzilla's face is pretty good too, and then the rest is good enough, I think. So there it is. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.